How's it going, everyone? Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel for a news drop discussion hybrid, I guess. Look, guys, I don't have the time to put out a proper news drop video at the moment, and this is one window I have to talk about all the big MMO news that I've missed over the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So I want to get straight to like some of the biggest news and share some thoughts on it, get your thoughts on it as well. And then by next weekend, we should be back to the usual format, news drops, streams, and all that stuff. It's nice to see everyone, so let's get straight to it. I want to talk about the big one that's affected me personally. I was pretty upset by this, and of course it's about Amazon's Lord of the Rings MMORPG. Bloomberg reported on the 18th, so the weekend before last, that the Lord of the Rings MMORPG project between Amazon, LOTR Tech, which is owned by Tencent, has unfortunately been cancelled. According to that article, which I'll link down below, I'm sure most of you guys that are interested in this have seen it already, the contract negotiations between the involved parties led to a dispute, which has caused the cancellation, and really, to me, it's a damn shame. That means, moving forward, Amazon will still have its New World MMORPG to release, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to that as well. But, you know, for those of us that are fans of Tolkien or fans of Lord of the Rings, we won't have an alternative now to Standing Stone Games' Lord of the Rings Online, which celebrated its 14th anniversary this past week. So, you know, congratulations to SSG and Lotro. I love that it's 14 years now, pretty good. Now, for the Amazon Lord of the Rings MMO, it's such a disappointment because, you know, like most of you, we were pretty excited when the news broke 2 years ago that they were going to be taking this on. You know, back then, Amazon game studios, it was still a pretty big announcement for them to put out, and a lot of us were excited because we're going to get to see, who knows, maybe a second age, a Middle Earth game, or a first age even, just something different from what we currently have. So I am, yes, disappointed that it's not going to be happening, but I am not surprised because since that announcement 2 years ago now, there's been nothing but silence from all these three parties, and I've seen the news drops that I put out in the comments like, is there any news about the new Lord of the Rings games? Is there any news? And as time went on, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yep, this is probably not going to happen now because it's 2 years on and New World is coming out. So if we haven't heard anything, then it's just bad news overall. So I am gutted, yes, unfortunately. I wish there was like some insider information from Kotaku, whatever, that maybe had their noses in some of the contract discussions. I want to know what couldn't be agreed on because Amazon, as we know, they could have had the project done just in the West by themselves. I'm trying to think of, you know, your involvement with LOTR and Tencent. Now, we know from the initial announcement that this was going to be a free-to-play MMORPG. And when I think about it now, you think about Tencent in Asia and that region, they pretty much excel in free-to-play MMOs or free-to-play games, free-to-play mobile games, whatever. So they have that area of expertise on maybe how to make free-to-play mechanics and systems and how to monetize the game in a free-to-play fashion. So maybe that's what Amazon was backing on that partnership for. And so the cancellation just threw everything under the bus, I suppose. Either way, look, New World is going to be coming out, and I'm still excited for that. If you haven't been keeping in touch with New World, I think over the past month or so, they've put out two major articles just covering some system overhauls. Like their questing system, for example, has been done again. The PvP system has been outlined. And from the time when I first jumped into the first alpha that released and into what I'm reading about the game now, it seems like a lot has changed. Now, for the better or worse, I cannot say. I'm not in the alpha currently, so it's only a matter of time before we jump into that beta, the pre-order beta, and then we can see for ourselves. Either way, disappointed that we're not getting another Amazon Lord of the Rings MMO, but still excited for New World to come out. So, you guys, I know some of you here have been waiting for that Lord of the Rings game. Share your feelings. How do you feel? And do you think we will ever see another Lord of the Rings MMO or Middle Earth MMO in a different era or something in the future? Let me know. Now, looking around the MMO block, the big boys have all been busy, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, both gearing up for their large content updates respectively, and the Elder Scrolls Online has had a pretty good month or so themselves, and I want to touch on them for a little bit. ESO just celebrated their 7th anniversary with huge sales and discounts, and a very long free-to-play period which saw lots of new players join the game, which is really cool, and they've of course had more previews for the Blackwood chapter coming out in June. So let's zoom in on that a little bit. I've been playing a lot of ESO over the past month, and I've seen a lot of you guys there. So thanks for saying hi and sharing stories and things like that. Now, first thing I want to touch on is this new feature called Endeavors, which is coming with Blackwood in Update 30. Endeavors, for those of you that don't know what it is, basically is introducing new in-game activities daily and weekly. Stuff like kill 10 humanoids, kill 10 X amount of delve bosses, complete X amount of dungeons or whatever, and that's going to earn you a new currency, which you can then take to the crown store to spend on the crown crate items. Not the crates itself, but specific stuff like the gems section that you can buy, you know, whatever, XP boosters or amount, things like that. The current system is to get gems, you'd first have to pour money into buying a crown crate, opening that up, and if you didn't get anything that you like, you can then extract those items into gems and then go buy something specific that you want. So with Endeavors, this is going to be a new way for you to earn in-game currency without paying any money and then go buy the things that you want. This is really cool, and it's something that I personally would use a lot because I do not spend money on crown crates. And unfortunately, the thing with ESO as an MMO is that all the coolest looking mounts and skins, of course, comes from the crown crates. And I don't recall if there's ever like a awesome looking mount or skin from, okay, maybe skin, but not so much mounts that comes from doing like hard mode, veteran challenge trials and things like that. Or at least I haven't done any of them. But I have to say, the best looking mounts for me have always come from the crown crates. So now with Endeavors, we're going to get a new way to earn this new currency without paying any money, which is going to let us go buy some cool looking mounts. So I'm going to be using that a lot. The other thing I want to touch upon is companions, which are, of course, coming to the Elder Scrolls Online with Blackwood as well. For those of you that didn't know, ESO is now getting a companion system like Star Wars The Old Republic, where companions join you in your adventures. So at launch, there's going to be 2 that you can recruit from the open world story quests. I'm not going to spoil any of that for you, but just know that, you know, again, they can tank, heal, and DPS for you. You can gear them with special companion gear that drops from mobs. They earn XP, they gain levels as well. They've got their own skill bars and everything, skill trees, and based on the skills that you equip with them, that's going to be their priority list in terms of skill execution and what role they play in terms of tank, heals, or DPS. Now, I've spent a lot of time on the PDS testing out companions, and for me, the job they do in certain respects and certain situations is just not good enough. So if you have them out and you're just doing quests or delves or just normal things for questing as a solo player, they're good enough. They'll get the job done. They'll do a decent amount of DPS, they'll take aggro from you if you have them tanking, and they'll of course heal you. But it's the slightly more challenging content, like if you're trying to solo a world boss, I found them absolutely useless. But then again, it's in line with what the developer said. Like, companions are meant to be helpful to you as a solo player if maybe you're not geared or if you're just starting out a new character. You can also bring them into dungeons and trials, and they do take up a spot of a player, but they are in no way a replacement for a real player's intelligence and skill level. So that's a bit of, you know, some people might not be happy with that, but then again, I would always choose a real player over a companion. Just in comparison to other games that do this or have this system, like Star Wars The Old Republic, I found their companion system a lot better in terms of the efficiency of the companion. Star Wars, remember, they used to have a gearing system as well, but they streamlined everything, and companions right now are pretty much God mode. In the Elder Scrolls Online, it's not to that level just yet, but for open world content, if you're a solo player, you will find them useful if you're slightly undergeared or not at the cap. But if you're at the cap with, like, I don't know, 800 CP or whatever, I actually found running around with my Ring of the Pale Order, I'm just efficient on my own solo without even having companions out. Now, one reason you might want them out is, of course, for the flavor. They do give off dialogue off the cuff based on what you're doing. So if you're stealing a lot, then one of the companions, Bastion, you know, disapproves, and he's got that meter of your friendship or your alliance with him or whatever. And the other one, of course, is in favor of all the shenanigans that you do, stealing, murdering, things like that. It's basically flavor stuff. They, from my experience of playing in the PDS, doing the main story, you know, they don't really get involved. You can't confer your actions with them. There is a dialogue section where you can talk about backgrounds and everything, and the responses, again, will be based on that meter, that friendship meter that you have with them. But they play no impact whatsoever in terms of the story and how they react to you in the main quest. So that's a bit of a disappointment as opposed to Star Wars The Old Republic, where the companions are very much involved to a certain extent. Either way, both of these features, endeavors, and companions will be out June 1st for PC, and it's on the PDS right now if you want to go check it out. If you've been doing the PDS, I want to hear your thoughts on both the Endeavor system and companion system, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And next up, we go to Guild Wars 2, because last week they put out their trailer for the final chapter of the Icebrood Saga Champions, which is Chapter 4, Judgment. And based on the trailer itself, which I'm sure most of you who play Guild Wars 2 have already watched, there's going to be something called Dragonstorm, which in the trailer it looks like this huge epic battle, lots of players involved with the dragons and champions, and it just looks insane, crazy. And it doesn't sound from the preview article and the release page that this is going to be another DRM, aka Dragon's Response Missions, which was what they were releasing as content over the past couple of chapters. That, I'm going to be honest here, at first it was fun to do DRMs, and then as they kept introducing more and you had to grind them pretty much every day for the new currency, and if you wanted new skins for achievement points and everything, it can burn you out. And it did. I have to admit, I got burned out by it. So learning that this could be something of a world boss event or something like that is actually pretty exciting, because we're going back to the old formula like Drakkar, which I think was more engaging because it had more players jumping in. It was organic. If you had a lot of people, great, you could finish it fast. If you didn't have enough people, there's always the chance of failing the event. So this Dragonstorm thing is going to be public. If you want to join other players, or if you want to start your own squad and head in a private instance, you can do so too. As for new rewards, I mean, if you had a look at the trailer, there's going to be a new dragon scale cape, which looks pretty awesome as a cloak. And it actually reminds me, I don't know how many of you guys played Lord of the Rings Online back in the day, but if you took part in the Drygok raid and you got a dragon scale, right, you could create a dragon cloak that looks kind of similar to this, a bit more flashy. But I do love how this looks, the texture and everything, so this is something I'm definitely going to try and get for my Fashion Wars. But on top of that, there's a new Ascended Greatsword and new infusions, which takes up the eye slot, and you can mix and match them apparently, like some of the stuff that you see in the trailer. Right eye Fury, left eye Icy, that's totally up to you. So the chapter Judgment comes out April 27th, which is tomorrow if you're watching this on Monday, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, outside of all the big established titles, some of the upcoming ones have also got some pretty big news that released over the last week or so, as we get closer to the summer period where a lot of these new games are going to be coming out. As far as tests and close beta tests are concerned, the first one, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, they have confirmed the release date, and it's June 2021. Also, Sega has officially opened up signups for the game's closed beta test, which is going to be taking place on the 14th of May. The web page is now open and everyone can head on over. I'll put the link down below, and you'll need to sign up via the Microsoft Store if you wish to participate on PC. The test itself, according to the developers, will be pretty polished, allowing you to test drive most systems and mechanics that's already there, and you even get to test out the cash store allowance and see what the microtransactions are like in game and all that stuff. There's no deadline for signups. It's going to run until the end of the CBT test period, so I suggest you sign up now so you don't miss out. Another upcoming MMO that's just opened its closed beta test applications is ELYON, also known as Ascent Infinite Realm, or formerly known as Air, really. So we've seen now Air, or ELYON, going through some changes since its Southeast Asian beta test to the Korean soft launch, or whatever you want to call that one. And now applications are open. The selection process will begin on the 27th, which is tomorrow. And then those that do get selected, client pre-downloads are on May 4th, and the CBT officially starts on May the 6th. Judging from the trailer and pre-released media stuff that they've been putting out about classes, the gameplay has gone through some drastic changes, more actiony overall, but I still am not convinced that it's going to make any difference from my experience of playing Ascent Infinite Realm in the Thai beta 2 years ago now. To me, it just looks like a flashy, modern version of Terra. And if they haven't changed the linearity of the story and the mundane first parts of the beginning of the game right through the mid-game, then I think it's not going to be well received by the Western audiences. I could be wrong. It's really hard to gauge these days what Western audiences want from their MMOs. Collectively, I think we're all over the place. Individually, I can speak for myself. I'm always after something new and exciting, but I keep falling back to the games that I already play. And ELYON just looks to be more of the same for me. Again, I mentioned Terra, to me just screams of something that I've played before. Hopefully I get into the closed beta myself and play it, and hopefully the game proves me wrong. I want to see an MMO succeed. So let's see how this plays out. And lastly, before I go, just two quick things on the mobile section now. Let's talk about Albion Online, the PC sandbox MMO. Guys, a lot of you have been waiting for the Android or iOS version of the game for Albion Online to come to your mobiles and have that cross-play thing enabled. And I'm happy to read that it is coming this summer. Pre-registrations for the mobile version of Albion Online are now open on the website, and doing so comes with some reward for cross-platform play at launch as well. And if you are in Germany right now, if you're a German player, you are in luck because the mobile test is already live in Germany and you can get your hands on the app right now. So those of you who are playing Albion Online Germany, give this a go and let the rest of us know, how does crossplay feel? Does it feel good on Albion? Because again, it's not a very systems heavy game because of the graphics and the pixels and everything. But you know, if you go into the raid zones and you do guild warfare and things like that, your phone may get heated up. I don't know. So if there's any German players out there who've already tested this, let us know your feedback. Is it any good playing on the mobile phone as compared to the PC? Either way, it doesn't matter because you can move freely between one or the other, which is great. Now, another MMO that's doing something like this is, of course, RuneScape Mobile. And after quite a long time of being in early access beta for both Android and iOS, it's been announced that the full launch for mobiles will officially take place this summer as well. And just like Albion, you can now pre-register with the game app on your respective device app stores. Players who do sign up to either will contribute to unlocking a series of exclusive in-game rewards for the player community as the number of pre-orders grow. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, folks. There's a lot of new stuff that I've saved and kept in my archive here, and I can't really get to talk about it because of time constraints. I'm working on a lot of things at the moment, but I will be back really soon. Next weekend, news drops are back in the usual format. I want to be streaming the new Guild Wars 2 chapter, which comes out tomorrow. I may be pushing that to Friday, but really just good to be back, get some thoughts out, talk about some news, and really good to see you guys. And I want to hear from you, so share your thoughts about what's going on down in the comment section, especially if there's a news that I've missed and you guys want to tell me about it, you guys want to share your thoughts, comment section, leave your thoughts there. Meantime, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back to you guys who've been waiting for a new video forever. I will see you guys real soon. Take care.